Hello. In this video, I'm going to solve this problem. It says find the flow rate in drops per minute for a given IV. Now, we're going to assume that the drop factor is 15 drops per ml. So, the first thing you should remember is that anytime you're finding a flow rate, you've got to check for that. It says drops per minute. So, you have to make sure that your rate or your units is going to be drops per minute at the end. Now, there is a formula to find flow rate in drop per minute. I'm going to give you that formula, and then I'm going to explain why it's like that. So the formula for flow rate in drops per minute, is equal to volume in ml over time. Remember, we are dealing with minutes. In minutes times the drop factor. I'm going to say DF, the drop factor, which is 15 drops per ml. Now, the reason why we've got to put volume in ml is that the drop factor is in ml. So your volume should be in ml. The reason why we are putting time in minutes is that the flow rate is in drops per minute. Drops per minute. So V over T in minutes times the drop factor. That's how you solve the problem. That's how you solve the problem. Now, also, if you look at the drop factor is in drops per ml. Drops per ml. Remember, the flow rate should be what we are trying to find should be in drops per minute. So the drop factor is in drops per ml. And that's very important because you could see that ml will cancel ml. So the units that I'm going to have left are going to be the drops and the minutes. Wow. And that gives me my flow rate. And that is why this formula would always work. This formula would always work for drops per minute for flow rate. All right. Now let's get into the problem and then solve the problem. So my volume must be in ml, but I have 2.2 liters. I have 2.2 liters. I've got to change 2.2 liters to ml. 2.2 liters to ml. Now, we know that, or you should know that 1 L or 1 liter is 1,000 ml. So 1 liter is 1,000. So if I have 2 liters, it's 2,000. I'm multiplying by 1,000. I have 2.2 liters, I multiply by 1,000. That gives me 2,200. But if you don't know if you're supposed to multiply, just set it up as a proportional equation. So I have 1 liter divided by 1,000 ml because 1 liter is 1,000 ml equals 2.2 liters over x. You cross multiply. So 1 times x is x equals 2.2 times 1,000. And that gives me 2,200 ml. Okay, so I've been able to change my 2.2 liters to 2,200 ml. That is my volume. Now, I also have to change the 4 hours, the time, to minutes. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 2 hours is 120 minutes. 3 hours is 180 minutes. 4 hours is 240 minutes. So I'm multiplying the number of hours by 60. So 4 hours is going to give me 240 minutes. 4 hours equals 240 minutes. So now I've got my volume in ml, I've got my time in minutes, my drop factor, I also have it. So I'm going to go to the formula. My volume is 2,200. So I put it on there, 2,200. And then my time is 240. 240 minutes. And then my drop factor is going to be 15 drops per ml. So now 15 is 15 over 1. So you go to your calculator and then you do the multiplication. 2,200 times 15 divided by 240. And that gives you 137.5. 137.5 drops per minute. 137.5 drops per minute. And that's it. Thank you.